Imagine a battle so pivotal, it changed the course of history, yet remains a mystery to this day. It's a tale of courage, strategy, and brute force, set against the backdrop of medieval Europe's most brutal conflict. Welcome to the Forgotten Battle, where Britain fought France, a clash that would leave thousands dead, and the very fabric of modern warfare forever altered. The Battle of Agincourt, fought on October 25, 1415, is often overshadowed by its more famous counterpart, the Battle of Normandy. But this lesser-known engagement was a turning point in the 100 Years' War, a protracted struggle between the English and French monarchies that would last for centuries. In fact, Agincourt was one of the most decisive battles in British history, marking a stunning defeat for the French and paving the way for their eventual surrender. Yet, despite its significance, Agincourt has long been relegated to the footnotes of history. It's a tale that's been buried beneath the more dramatic accounts of the Battle of Hastings or the Napoleonic Wars. But the truth is, Agincourt's story is just as compelling, just as tragic, and just as transformative as any other. So let's delve into the heart of this forgotten battle and uncover the secrets behind the English triumph. It was a chilly autumn morning when King Henry V, the young and ambitious English monarch, led his army onto the battle-scarred fields of Agincourt. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves, and the sound of distant drums echoed through the mist-shrouded landscape. Henry's men, a motley crew of knights, archers, and men-at-arms, were about to face off against a French army that outnumbered them by at least 5 to 1. The French, led by the constable Charles d'Aubret, were confident in their superiority. They had assembled a massive army, estimated to be around 20,000 strong, and were convinced that they would crush the English with ease. But Henry had other plans. He knew that his men were outnumbered, but he also knew that they were better trained, better equipped, and better prepared for the battle ahead. As the two armies clashed, the English lines held firm, their longbowmen unleashing a hail of arrows that cut down the French cavalry like wheat before a scythe. The French, caught off guard by the English tactics, were quickly thrown into disarray. Their knights, clad in armor that was both cumbersome and ineffective against the English arrows, were no match for the agile and deadly English archers. The battle raged on for hours, the English lines holding fast against the French onslaught. But as the sun began to set, the French were in full retreat, leaving behind a trail of dead and wounded in their wake. When the dust finally settled, the English had emerged victorious, having killed an estimated 7,000 to 10,000 French soldiers. But what drove the English to victory, and what was the true cost of their triumph? These are questions that have puzzled historians for centuries, and ones that we'll explore in more detail as we delve deeper into the story of Agincourt. For now, let's just say that this battle marked a turning point in the 100 Years' War, a conflict that would continue to rage on for decades to come. Despite their victory, the English paid a heavy price for their triumph. Many of their men were killed or wounded, and the survivors were left to pick up the pieces in the aftermath of the battle. But as we'll see, the true cost of Agincourt went far beyond the loss of life. It was a battle that would change the very nature of warfare, paving the way for the introduction of new tactics, new technologies, and new strategies that would shape the course of modern conflict. As we continue to explore the story of Agincourt, we'll uncover the secrets behind this remarkable battle and explore the lasting impact it had on modern warfare. We'll examine the role of the longbow in the English victory and how it changed the face of medieval warfare. We'll also delve into the politics and intrigue surrounding the battle and how it was used as a propaganda tool to rally support for the English cause. And as we reach the end of this fascinating tale, we'll ask the question, what can we learn from the Battle of Agincourt? How can we apply the lessons of this forgotten battle to our own lives and our own understanding of conflict and victory? These are questions that will keep you hooked and leave you eager to learn more about this captivating story. So join us as we embark on this journey through the forgotten battle where Britain fought France. We'll uncover the secrets, the strategies, and the sacrifices that made this battle so pivotal. And when we're done, you'll have a newfound appreciation for the bravery, the cunning, and the sheer determination of the men who fought on that fateful day in Agincourt. As we begin our exploration of this forgotten battle, remember, the story of Agincourt is not just a tale of war and conquest. It's a story of how a small band of dedicated men, armed with little more than their courage and their cunning, can change the course of history. It's a story that will inspire, educate, and captivate you, and leave you wondering what other secrets lie hidden in the forgotten battles of the past. Imagine a battle so pivotal, it changed the course of history, yet remains a mystery to this day. It's a tale of courage, strategy, and brute force, set against the backdrop of medieval Europe's most brutal conflict. Welcome to the forgotten battle where Britain fought France, a clash that would test the mettle of two of history's greatest armies. As we delve deeper into this epic struggle, we find ourselves in the midst of 1415, a year that would prove to be a turning point in the 100 Years' War. King Henry V, a young and ambitious leader, had a plan to defeat the French army, using clever tactics and a cleverer mind. This was no ordinary king, for Henry V was a battle-hardened warrior with a reputation for bravery and cunning. With a keen eye for strategy, Henry V recognized the French army's weakness. He knew that the English had a significant advantage in terms of armor and longbowmen, the infamous war machines of medieval warfare. The longbow, with its deadly accuracy and range, would prove to be a game-changer on the battlefield. But the French, with their superior numbers and strong defensive position, seemed almost invincible. Yet Henry V was not one to underestimate his opponents. He knew that the French army's strength lay in its numbers, but he also knew that a well-trained and well-equipped army can overcome even the greatest odds. And so, he devised a plan to exploit the French weak points, to outmaneuver them and catch them off guard. The English army, with its distinctive red and white livery, marched towards the French lines, their longbows at the ready. The French, confident in their defensive position, stood firm, their men-at-arms and archers bracing for impact. The stage was set for a battle that would change the course of history. As the English army approached, Henry V gave the signal to begin the assault. The longbowmen, with their characteristic twang, unleashed a hail of arrows upon the French lines. The French, taken aback by the ferocity of the English attack, stumbled backward in disarray. The English, sensing victory within their grasp, pressed their advantage, pushing forward with a fierce determination. In the face of overwhelming odds, Henry V's clever strategy paid off. The English exploited the French weak points, their longbowmen raining down arrows upon the French men-at-arms. The French, unable to withstand the English onslaught, began to falter, their lines wavered, and their defense began to crumble. As the dust settled, the English army emerged victorious, their longbowmen still firing their arrows in triumph. The French, their army in disarray, retreated in defeat. Henry V, his plan a success, rode into the fray, his armor battered, but his spirit unbroken. But at what cost? We'll delve into the devastating impact on both sides and the human toll of this epic battle. The English, though victorious, had suffered heavy casualties. Their longbowmen, the backbone of their army, had been decimated. The French, on the other hand, had lost a significant portion of their army, their men-at-arms and archers cut down by the English longbowmen. As we reflect on this forgotten battle, we're reminded of the human cost of war. The battles, the bloodshed, the loss of life, all these and more are a sobering reminder of the true nature of conflict. And yet it's in the midst of this chaos that we find moments of heroism, of bravery, of selflessness. In the next section, we'll explore the aftermath of this epic battle and the far-reaching consequences that would change the course of history. We'll delve into the politics, the intrigue, and the power struggles that would shape the fate of Europe. And we'll uncover the secrets of this forgotten battle, a tale of courage, strategy, and brute force that would remain etched in the annals of history forever. Imagine a battlefield soaked in blood that the very ground seemed to drink in the lives of the fallen. It's a sight that would haunt the survivors for eternity, a testament to the brutality of war and the unyielding will to victory. Welcome to the Battle of Agincourt, where the lines between life and death blurred into a frenzy of steel and screams. On that fateful day, October 25th, 1415, the English army, led by King Henry V, faced off against the French forces in a battle that would change the course of history. The stage was set for a clash of titans, with the French nobility, the flower of their aristocracy, arrayed against the English longbowmen, the backbone of the English army. The very air was heavy with anticipation, as if the gods themselves held their breath, waiting to see which side would emerge victorious. As the battle raged on, the English army proved themselves to be a force to be reckoned with. Their longbowmen, those skilled archers who had honed their craft on the battlefields of Wales and Scotland, unleashed a hail of arrows that decimated the French ranks. The French knights, those proud warriors clad in their shining armor, charged forward with reckless abandon, only to be cut down by the English longbowmen's deadly aim. The carnage was unimaginable. Estimates suggest that over 7,000 French casualties, many of them members of the nobility, fell on that bloody day. The English suffered heavy losses as well, but their superior tactics and armor allowed them to emerge victorious. As the battle subsided, the English army stood victorious, their longbowmen's prowess having turned the tide of the war. But the Battle of Agincourt was more than just a battle. It was a turning point in the 100 Years' War between England and France. The English victory opened the door to further conquests in France, and the French were left reeling from their devastating defeat. The aftermath of the battle saw the English army advance into France, their longbowmen's reputation spreading terror and awe throughout the land. As we reflect on the Battle of Agincourt, we're reminded that war is a brutal and unforgiving business. The English army's victory came at a terrible cost, and the French nobility's defeat was a blow from which they would never recover. Yet, as we look back on that bloody day, we're also reminded of the enduring power of courage and strategy. The English longbowmen's bravery and skill had changed the course of history, and their legacy would be remembered for generations to come. But what about the long-term consequences of this battle? We'll explore how it shaped the course of European history and the far-reaching impact it had on the world we live in today. Join us next time as we delve into the fascinating story of how the Battle of Agincourt forever changed the face of Europe. In the midst of the chaos and bloodshed, there existed a small band of unsung heroes who played a pivotal role in the English victory at Agincourt. These men, armed with little more than their courage and skill, were the backbone of the English army, and their stories have been lost to the annals of history. But today, we'll uncover the tales of these forgotten heroes and explore what drove them to fight for their country. Meet Richard Crofton, the legendary English longbowman who helped turn the tide of the battle. With his trusty longbow by his side, Crofton proved to be a force to be reckoned with on the battlefield. But what drove this man to fight so valiantly? Was it a desire for glory or a sense of duty to his country? Perhaps it was something more personal, a burning need to prove himself in the face of overwhelming odds. As we delve deeper into the stories of these forgotten heroes, we'll discover that they were more than just nameless faces in the crowd. Each one had a unique story, a personal motivation that drove them to take up arms and fight for their country. From the foot soldiers who fought in the thick of the battle, to the nobles who led the charge, every single one of these men left their mark on history. One such hero was a young man named Thomas Wetherall, a member of the English gentry, who joined the army to fight for his king and his country. Thomas, like many of his contemporaries, was driven by a sense of duty and loyalty. He was willing to risk everything, including his own life, to protect his fellow soldiers and defend the English crown. But what made Thomas so special? What set him apart from the rest? As we explore the stories of these forgotten heroes, we'll uncover the threads that connected them all. We'll see how their bravery, loyalty, and sacrifice helped to shape the outcome of the battle, and how their legacy continues to inspire us today. But for now, let's focus on the individual stories and the personal struggles that define these remarkable men. Imagine being a young soldier facing the prospect of death or injury on the battlefield. Would you have the courage to stand tall, to face the enemy head-on, and to fight for what you believe in? That's exactly what these forgotten heroes did, and their stories are a testament to the human spirit. Their bravery and sacrifice should not be forgotten, and we'll honor their memory in this epic retelling. By sharing their stories, we hope to inspire a new generation of leaders, to remind them of the importance of courage, loyalty, and sacrifice. And as we conclude this section, we'll leave you with a question. What would you have done in their shoes? Would you have fought for your country, or would you have turned a blind eye to the conflict? The choice is yours, but one thing is certain: the stories of these forgotten heroes will stay with you long after the credits roll. In the midst of World War I, a group of soldiers from the British Expeditionary Force (BEF) stumbled upon an old battlefield and were shocked to discover the remains of the Battle of Agincourt. It was a discovery that would change their understanding of history forever and shed new light on a battle that had long been relegated to the footnotes of history. As they walked among the remains, they couldn't help but wonder what had transpired on this very spot over 500 years ago. The Battle of Agincourt had a profound impact on the course of European history, shaping the way armies fought and the role of the monarchy. King Henry V's brilliant military strategy and bravery on the battlefield had not only secured a decisive victory for the English, but also cemented his reputation as one of the greatest military leaders in history. His tactics, which included the use of longbowmen and the deployment of troops in a defensive formation, would go on to influence military strategy for centuries to come. As the years passed, the legend of Agincourt grew, and it became a byword for English courage and determination. The battle's impact on the monarchy was also significant, with King Henry V's victory paving the way for English expansion in Europe. His successes built on this momentum, and the English monarchy continued to play a major role in shaping European politics and culture. Today, the legacy of Agincourt continues to inspire and inform modern warfare, with lessons learned from this epic battle still relevant today. The use of longbowmen, for example, has been studied and emulated by armies around the world, while the defensive tactics employed by King Henry V have been adopted by military leaders as far afield as the United States and Australia. As we reflect on the significance of Agincourt, it's clear that this forgotten battle has left an indelible mark on the course of history. But Agincourt's impact goes far beyond the military realm. The battle's legacy can also be seen in the art and literature of the time, with many authors and artists drawing inspiration from the events of that fateful day. From Shakespeare's iconic play to the works of contemporary historians, the Battle of Agincourt continues to captivate and inspire us to this day. As we revisit the forgotten battle that changed the course of history, we're reminded of the enduring power of courage, determination, and tactical genius. Join us next time as we delve deeper into the stories and events that shaped the outcome of this epic conflict and discover why the Battle of Agincourt remains one of the most fascinating and important battles in history.